What's up, motorcycle friends? Finally got this on the bench. This is the GP8-SS from PasseriRC. What a cool upgraded frame for your NSR 500. So I decided just to build this thing out from what came in this little box, and this is basically what you get. So forged carbon fiber, aluminum standoffs, okay? Nice stainless steel bolts all around. All that is provided. You have a few extra bits in there too. Aluminum rear swing arm. They also provide the pinion gear and your main gear holder here, which is cool because that doesn't come like that, I believe, on the GP8. At least on my kit it didn't. I had to order that separately. And what you're going to do with this is then upgrade your NSR 500 kit. So you do need to buy an NSR 500 as well, because that will fill in all the missing bits here. But in my opinion, what this does is it really increases the rigidity, and I think it can really accept brushless power. So if you're trying to rip, I think this is the right upgrade to get. Really no issues with the build. I mean, look how simple it is. You get the PDF, you'll download this if you're able to buy one, and you got essentially 3 pages. So you've got your subframe assembly, where it's gonna hold your servo for your steering and your rider. All carbon fiber again, and these aluminum standoffs. Fairly straightforward. Then of course you got this reference photo. So you're just taking your time. Definitely get, where am I looking at a set of calipers. You really want to have a set of calipers because you want to measure this stuff out, make sure you're putting the right things in the right places. For the most part, it won't go together correctly without it, but it's just nice to double check stuff. Another cool feature is you can see with a servo, it has 2 ways to adjust it. You can see that's a slot, so it will accept bigger and smaller servos, and then you have some spacers that come in the kit to allow that servo to move forward and back so it mates perfectly with the NSR 500 steering system. So it seems like you're going to be able to kind of run what you want to a certain limit. Then you've got the frame itself, got a beautiful metal bottom plate here that's got the PasseriRC insignia. I never say that right. PasseriRC. I always want to add extra syllable. Anyway, I think that looks sick. It's got a real nice weight to it. I kind of already showed this in the last video. You have 2 options where if you want to ride the rear sets up or down for clearance, okay? And then you're gonna mount your rear swing arm. Now the swing arm itself, this right here, the swing arm mount, this axle, it's too thick to go through the bearing. That bearing will not receive that. I had the same problem on my GP8. What I ended up doing was just replacing the bearings on the GP8 with bushings. And that actually is on the rear axle where I saw that problem. In this case, I didn't want to do that because I really want that rear axle spinning without any issue. So I kept the bearings, and what I had to do is sand this down using sandpaper. It's just aluminum, so it's not too hard to sand, but it takes about 30 minutes. Trial, fit, and error. You just sand, and then finally this will pass through the bearings. So you can see where I did that right here. Kind of a pain in the ass. You can see where it's kind of chewed up right there. So that passes through the bearings. Finally, I got this thing mounted, but then as soon as I had it mounted, check this out, it's not centered in the frame. How do I know it's not centered? Because it's rubbing against the rear set on the left side, and there's gap on the right side. So now what I'm gonna have to do is take everything back out. I'm gonna have to shim this a little to get this centered. And once it's centered, then we'll be good to go. It doesn't seem like it's gonna be that big of a deal. All kits require a little bit of customization, and I bet there's maybe 100 or 200 of these made. So these small batch carbon fiber jobs, you know, you're going to have some small bits of fit issues that are going to require a little bit of manipulation, okay? But aside from that, I didn't have to do anything else. A few of the bolts I thought were shorter than they should be, namely like this mounting bolt right here doesn't really engage this inner bolt, or nut I should say, very well. You just get a couple of threads engagement. Solid as a rock, but I worry that a lot of crashes later this might strip out, so maybe getting a little bit longer stainless steel bolt here would be a good idea. Of course, you got to be careful because the clearance, if I can get it up close enough, you can see is very minimal, so you can't really have any screw hanging out of that bolt. Yeah, let's talk about maybe the servo. What size servo is going to fit this kit? Again, what's nice is you got that slot system, so you have a lot of variability in terms of the exact servo size. But I measured this guy out, and this is a pretty good fitting servo, although I'm going to get a nice high voltage, high quality metal gear servo. And let's see. So if you're thinking about buying this kit, you want to know what size servo fits. 11 millimeter width, 31 millimeter height, 31 millimeter depth, and try to get one that doesn't have that little hump on top. You want the actual drive gear to be basically flush with the top of the servo, and I think it'll be golden. You also want to make sure the servo has 2 holes, not 1, because a lot of these smaller servos have 1. And why is that important? Again, because if you look here, you can see where it's a 2-hole mount, front, top, and bottom. And it's nice too because you have access to all this stuff, kind of unlike the Kyosho kit, which is really hard to work on once it's assembled. You got to really take it apart. I think this is going to offer a lot more ability to be messed with at the field, so to speak. So yeah, you got to get the chain out of your Kyosho kit. Obviously, it doesn't come with a chain. This is great too. It really gives you the option for the upgraded 10th scale touring car shock. And you have to mess around with spring rate compared to what comes stock on these things, which is just absolute junk. You know, no oil, just a plastic strut and a crappy spring. So you have no rebound control. Really advise against this because, man, you hit a bump or a pebble and the thing just bounces like a trampoline and you lose traction and crash. So I really do think suspension upgrades and tire upgrades for these 8th scale motorcycles are key. That's really going to make you have some fun. All right, so this is the kit assembled, as you can see. Super sick, really excited about it. Look at that forged carbon fiber, man. How badass does that look? So I'm going to need to modify my swing arm to get that moving freely. I'm going to install my brushless setup. I've got a Kawada main gear here, and this is 48 pitch, 69 tooth. Should fit. That's what fits on the GP8. I'm going to use the same power system I've been using on my GP8 because it's just more than enough, man. That's this guy right here, King Val. A ton of runtime on these. They work great. This little ESC, it's knockoff, but you don't need that much complexity for these kits, in my opinion. Fits really nice in the frame. So I'm going to install that. We'll get a nice high-end servo on the front. I've got the upgraded ZH Racing PasseriRC branded front fork. I may use that, but I also may use the NSR 500 front fork just because I can get it really soft, which is what I like. I like my suspension really soft for my driving setup. Haven't decided on that yet. Then I'm going to mount the plastic body and rider and probably have to do some significant modification to that. But we'll see. I'm not planning to run a polycarbonate body, but that's going to be coming in video 3. The next video I'm going to show is just basically the electronics install with the front and rear tire end, and I'll check in with you guys to see what else you needed to do, what to order if you're considering this kit. If you're into RC motorcycles, this is definitely something to consider. It's the GP8-SS from PasseriRC. You can find them on Facebook. And if you're a little bit patient, you can definitely get one of these for yourself and drag me in your parking lot, right? All right, thanks for watching this far. If you did, like and subscribe if you want to keep up with the build. I'll be posting a few more here in the next couple weeks as I get through this. All right, see you on the next one.